Hello and welcome to Long Beach Lens. I'm your host, Derek J. Simpson, Executive Director of the Long Beach Community Action Partnership. On today's show, we will be getting to know two different organizations. Our first guest is the Community Service Department librarian from the Long Beach Public Library. Please welcome Ziba Perez Zayda. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, thank you for having me.
That just rolled right off.
Yes.
It's great to have you.
Thank
So
you.
I know that you've been with the library not an extended period of time, but first of all, tell us, what does your actual role entail?
Mostly in charge of helping the Makerspace
Okay.
do its programming.
Okay.
Like our every month we change our calendar of events, so it's really fun to put on. Personally, I do the zine workshop every Tuesday at 4, and we have 3D printing on Wednesdays at 1. And so mostly I'm with also outreach, taking the studio mobile and going to the 12 branches with our 3D printing and workshops. And also with the city, different events like this. Tomorrow they're having a bicycle safety ABC's outreach. I'll be there 5 to 8 with a 3D printer.
So for someone who started out in the library when you had the cards and you had to go track down things, what is a makerspace? What exactly can someone expect if they go to the main library to the makerspace?
It's a creative space, and we have studio guides to help you with your creations to jumpstart anything you want to create. We have the full Adobe Creative Suite, Photoshop, Illustrator, the latest version, Final Cut Pro, Premiere, After Effects. We can help with music. Since we're a satellite of PadNet, it's really great that we have all your equipment for PadNet members to come and use the green room. And so we like to tell people that you can make anything. We also have a sewing machine that's brand new to the studio,
Wow.
which we've been using for book binding for the zine workshops to make zines. You can sew instead of staple.
Right.
You can sew the binding, and it's
Right.
really fun to just use the 3D printers also to design with.
Okay. Now you mentioned 3D printers, and I know you have something right close, the hand there. I'm intrigued by the hand. So the 3D printer, for those who aren't aware, tell us a bit about what is the 3D printer and how does one go about that?
Oh yes, we use PLA, polylactic acid. It's a corn-based filament that you can get in different colors, and that's what we use to print. It's non-toxic.
So that was actually
biodegradable.
made through a printer.
Yes, the different parts, and then you put them together with the Velcro. And this is through Enable, a grant we can match children to make prosthetic hands. So that's a service at the library.
Wow.
And we also have the Key to the City. Our studio guides helped design that the mayor gave out as the final
really?
version is metal though. But
Okay.
so that was from the
So
studio.
that was like the prototype then?
Yeah.
Okay.
David and Gabe at the studio, and then we've got 3D selfies. This one is myself, which you can get yourself scanned in. You just take
Look,
a
it's
minute.
got your hair swooped to the right
Yeah.
there and everything, huh?
And once
Okay.
you print it out, it takes an hour and 15 minutes to print out fully. But you only sit in front of the scanner for a minute, and you do a spin, and then the file is captured, and then you print yourself out.
So if I want to get one of those made for all of my staff here at Long Beach Cap and put on their desk so they would never forget me, I could do that.
Yes, yes. Our policy.
I don't think they would appreciate that, but okay.
People, love coming down. It's one print per patron per month, free.
Okay.
Free. And if you have a big project you're working on, just bring your own filament in, and you can be in the queue. Because a lot of Cal State Long Beach students come down to print, use our 3D printers.
It's an amazing space. I mean, I'm joking about it, but it's incredibly creative when you walk in there and you see the team that you have working with people. You don't just throw them in there and say, figure it out. You're actually there helping them make the most of it. And I think that's amazing. Now, you were recently assigned or moved to Long Beach, but before that you were in Costa Mesa, correct?
Yes,
And how did that experience there prepare you for what you're doing now?
Oh, it was very interesting. I'm Long Beach born and raised, 34 years, and I had my Master's of Science in Library Information Science to be in my first librarian position, which was at Costa Mesa, Orange County Public Libraries. I was there a year and 8 months as an adult services librarian, so I did programming for the small branch as I tried to get a zine collection started there, and the admin at the time said, not right now, but when I heard about Long Beach, asking me to volunteer as doing a zine workshop in the studio, I was so happy to come to my city as a volunteer and do the zine workshop. And when a position opened up, I said, oh great, because I've wanted to help start a circulating zine collection in a public library. Like I saw at Utah, they have the largest circulating zine collection west of the Mississippi at Salt Lake City Public Library in Utah.
Wow. Now let's stop there for a moment, because when I first heard this term, I have to admit, though I'm a published author, I didn't know what a zine was. So explain to those who are watching what a zine is.
I brought an example of one we made in the studio.
Sure.
This is
Don't
our
worry, we'll get that.
Make a Zine at the Studio zine.
Okay.
And so a zine is short for magazine, fanzine. It's a do-it-yourself publication. It's publishing whatever your message is. So it can be poetry, cooking recipes, movie reviews, or just illustrations. So you can cut and paste images and then scan them out to make multiple copies, like small, like batch, like 40 to 200. And you can sell them for $1 to $5 generally, or trade them at zine festivals, which is great because Long Beach is having its second annual zine festival this Sunday, April 24th at the Museum of Latin American Art, and it's free, open all ages, 11 a.m.
Now, if this show happens to air after that date and people miss that, are there other events coming up in terms of zines here in Long Beach?
Oh yeah, definitely. Come down to the studio for a zine workshop if you want to get started. Every Tuesday at 4 I host that to make use of our tools and an intro to zines. But also there's Orange County Zine Fest coming up in the summer. LA Zine Fest just happened in February. I mean, it happens March this year, but there's also Claremont and Pomona. I mean, they happen all.
So there's a lot going on. So is this is evidently, is this something new that's resurging, or it's always been there and we just weren't aware? What's the story?
Yeah, it's always been there, but for Southern California, it started picking up again in 2012 with the first annual LA Zine Fest in downtown LA, and I exhibited there with my friends because we were doing them in high school at Long Beach Poly High School here in the 90s. My friends would make zines for fun and just trade them with jokes and puzzles, and now that it was back in 2012, I said, you need to make a zine again so many years later, so that's when we got back into it.
Now, how does that relate? I think you said something about zine music. How does?
Oh yeah, if you're a musician, you can make a zine as well.
How does that work?
You can promote, just like I went to a producer's roundtable for Panet once and gave a zine workshop, because you can also promote your television show in a zine, just like you can promote your music.
Right.
Fanzines, they have one for Morrissey in the early 90s, and it was called Morrazine. It was a Morrissey fanzine, all about Morrissey, and the fans made it and followed him on tour and interviewed him, took pictures. So it's like a zine can be anything. Like.
Now, you were mentioning before we started the show that you were a bit nervous on TV because you're more used to being in radio. What was that all about?
Oh yes, I did college radio for 13 years at UC Irvine, 88.9 FM, and I did 10 years music show where I had live bands in the studio and interviewed them, and then I did 3 years talk show where I interviewed librarians and archivists from around the world, whoever could call in, and then I did a 30-minute. So it's podcasted. You can still find those MP3s on kuci.org.
So we're very, very blessed to have you in Long Beach with this diverse talent that you have. What's your vision going forward there at the library for that department that you're working in? We have about 4 minutes, and I want to make sure we really focus on not only the things that you've mentioned, but is there anything that we should look forward to that you're working on that isn't quite there yet?
Oh yeah, we've started just in March last month a Spanish language film series. So every Thursday at 4:30 you can see those, because I am very trying to increase bilingual programming, Spanish and English. Tuesdays you can see a film series called Reeling Through the Decades, where every month we go through a new decade of film history. And we started with the 20s in January, so now we're in the 50s. And so we like to use film as an educational tool, so I do a little intro, outro at the end. So the library is more than just books is the point. We're trying to emphasize all of our resources in our Makerspace, the zine collection, film club, and hopefully programs such as bilingual conversation group, where we can just practice Spanish and English in an informal environment.
If someone hasn't been in the library for years and they walk in today, what would be some of the things that you would say are some of the biggest changes in terms of local libraries in, let's say, the last 5 to 10 years?
Well, definitely the main library is huge, 2 floors, and they're looking forward to a brand new space in 3 years. We're lucky that's coming along, but definitely we're the only ones in the area really with the Makerspace free to the public, and everyone comes across that. And so I didn't know this was here. This weekend will be our 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
April 17, 2014 is when it came out, the studio, which is our Makerspace at the library. So just having these things in a library is like, oh wow, I didn't know you had a 3D printer, and even typewriters, people are using those for zine making, even though that's always been there. So
of all the things that we've been talking about, what's your greatest passion? What do you enjoy most working down there?
Definitely being the zine librarian and curating the zine collection to see it grow. And I go to the festivals and I purchase them for the library, and then they get cataloged, and to see a local zinester in the catalog is really amazing. And then it's like worldwide. Mostly academic libraries have zine collections in the archive and special collections, but to have it at a public library free with your library card. Right now you can find it on top of the adult graphic novel collection at the main library, and also Mark Twain has a collection out of the 12 branches. You can find it off Anaheim at Mark Twain branch, and at the main library off Pacific. So
the Makerspace is really a driving force now at the library, huh?
Oh yeah, because you can make anything there.
Right. And how is the utilization? Are you like slammed with people, or is it pretty easy to walk in and get to the printer or whatever you need?
It's pretty easy to walk in because it depends on, if everyone's in school at the time or at work, and then our hours, we're open Tuesday through Saturday, we're closed Sunday, Monday.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, hopefully with better budget in the future. I've only been there 6 months, so my dream is that we're open 7 days a week, that we're open 9 to 9. Like, I just want the best for our city.
Well, I hope your dream comes true. We're out of time, and I really appreciate you joining us. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will be speaking with Dara Sampson and Kevin Lunenbrick of Retail Therapy Consulting. Stay tuned for more Long Beach Lens.
Artful Thinking is a Long Beach-based nonprofit founded in 2010 to create artful events that educate the public about HIV and breast cancer while raising funds to support those services. Since then, we have brought Long Beach 2 successful comedy nights with Paula Poundstone and the monthly film series Out at the Movies, which featured appearances by Lily Tomlin as well as others. Beneficiaries include the Woman to Woman campaign in Long Beach, the Christina Applegate Foundation, St. Mary's Hospital's CARE program, the AIDS Assistance Foundation, the AIDS Food Store. Contact us at info@artfulthinking.org. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Barry Kogert with the Jazz Angels. We've created an environment where seasoned jazz professionals and young students perform side by side. Our students range in age from 10 to 19 and come from a wide variety of backgrounds and schools. The jazz bands are organized by skill level rather than age. If you want to have a positive impact on our youth, get involved with the Jazz Angel team or make a tax-deductible donation. Please visit www.jazzangel.org or call 562-981-8410. Thank you.
Welcome back. I am your host, Derek J. Simpson. For this segment, we will be learning more about retail therapy consulting. Please welcome Dara Sampson and Kevin Lunabrick. Did I get it? Yes.
Very much so, thank you.
I've been
Great to be
rehearsing
here.
those names. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Retail therapy, what is it, Dara?
It is a business that will help your business build, grow, or renew. And there's a lot of different ways to help other businesses. And sometimes business owners miss a little bit of what's going on because there's so much going on. So sometimes they need an outside eye to help them.
Now, Kevin, I know here at Long Beach Community Action Partnership, I have a COO, and basically I see myself as more of the visionary and making things happen. And then once I get them into trouble, she helps me get out of trouble. What's your role as COO?
That's very good. You've got it down pat, pretty much.
Yes.
So I'm kind of a lot behind the scenes, also working on the website and things of that sort, the groundwork, and a lot of the verbiage and stuff behind what we do, as well as a lot of years of doing analytics from my background in retail.
So is web design one of the services that you would offer, or that's just what you have to do to maintain it for your business?
Well, it's something that we do to maintain for obviously our business, and every business that we work with is something we encourage. It's really essential in the modern world of doing business. And it's more of guiding them to what they need to show and what they need to present and how to present themselves to the consumer, the market they're going after.
So help me understand, and for those who are viewing a typical case study, what is your business best suited to help? If I'm a business out there, who is the best type of client that you would be looking for?
One of our best stories that we can talk about is like a trainer, a professional athlete who opened a gym.
Okay.
And he said, oh, I'm going to open a gym. I'm great at this. And then he said, oops, I need to run a business also now that I've opened. So that happens a lot. That doesn't, it's not that their skills aren't great for training.
Right.
You know, you have to be a juggler when you own a business. And so we kind of help them get their direction focused, because there are a lot of different things that come up every day, whether it's employee issues, building issues, customer issues. And sometimes one of those things will be an overwhelming thing. And that's maybe what you need to focus on, how to make that something that's more manageable. And that's sometimes where we can jump in. So.
Now, what about, I know your name is Retail Therapy, but can a nonprofit such as Long Beach Community Action Partnership or other nonprofits benefit from?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very much the things that our business does, and every business in general, the things they need to succeed is things that we help with, be it marketing, social media, how to build that presence, even like training volunteers, or like in the case of a regular business, training employees. There's all services that we do, and it's perfectly works for a nonprofit.
Let me ask you, because I always hear, and regretfully, that we're the best kept secret, and you talk about marketing and you talk about social media, but what are some of the things that you find to be common among nonprofits or businesses, that some hurdles that they're facing marketing wise or social media wise, that little tidbits that they should know to get over that hurdle, other than contacting you guys, or in addition
to contacting,
let's start there. Yeah.
I mean, really, in the modern world with social media, it's really interacting with your consumer. It's not just posting things online and hoping someone sees them. It's engaging them, getting them to not only come to your page or your posts, but to look, and then asking them for input or feedback, or even having them, depending on if you're running a clothing store, have them submit images of their own fashion ideas. And then, the other great thing in the blogosphere, as they call it now, is the idea of influencers. There's people out there that run their own blogs, that a lot of them are actually paid to talk about different products, different businesses, and to have these people looking at your product, your business, your nonprofit, very much expands your reach. Because a lot of these influencers have millions in certain situations of followers.
Now, how do you go from going back to that scenario of the trainer, right? I mean, that's a great example. He was just a person or she that did their thing. But how do you go from that person to finding this influencer that you're talking about there, how do you bridge that gap? Because that's a key thing.
Right. For that person,
Yeah.
social media is really key. And that's something that, while he's training people, he's thinking about training them and isn't necessarily worrying about the social media aspects of it.
Right.
But now that's so important. It is such a big area. We would not say that we are social media. Like we don't have a YouTube site because it's not something that it's necessary, but we think it's an element of each business. It doesn't have to be your only element. In that situation, for that person, social media is really key because it's a way to get people to see you. You can put an ad in a paper that goes to 2,000 people in your community, or you can put something on YouTube. And it's not to say that the ad in the newspaper isn't necessary, but in addition.
It's just one of the key pieces of a strategy that overall you might have.
Right.
Now, you talked about originally that you build, grow, and renew. That's sort of your tag. When you come in, you talk about building. We mentioned the trainer, but what would a renew scenario be?
So one of my clients is a pet store. And
you have a passion for pets, I
do.
Okay.
I do. And one of my clients he has 4 stores, and he is very much a business person, and he runs a really efficient business. However, his strength was not merchandising, and he needed some help in that area, and that was something that has proven to, not that we knew everything when we went in, but through studying and analyzing where their trends are, we're able to help them make better choices in merchandising.
Now, I read something about reignite the spark. Who's going to tell me about reigniting the spark? Would that be you, Kevin?
I'll take that one on. It kind of follows, it's kind of what Dara was just talking about. Reigniting the spark. A lot of times, if someone's been running a business for a long time, you kind of get stagnant or stuck in a rut. This is just how you do it, and you go through the motions. And a lot of times, you're focused on one aspect of your business and not necessarily the newest thing that's out there, or just some everyday
just keeping your head above water.
Sometimes just keeping your head above water is what you're really focused on.
Right.
And what you just need sometimes is an outside objective person to come and look at your business and say, hey, this is an opportunity, this is an opportunity. And if you find that one missing element that can totally spark your business and set you on a whole new path to either profitability, expanding, and building and growing.
What's typically a tipping point where a business goes from just nose to the grindstone to realizing, wow, I need help? What do you typically find is that tipping point?
It is hard for people to make the commitment to ask for help.
Right.
That is very hard for people to ask for help.
No one wants to admit that they need help usually.
Right. And also then it becomes a financial thing. A lot of times the financial implication is when people come in and ask for help, is when the books are not where the books should be and the bottom line is not what it should be. And they have choices, and the choices are continue on the path where they are or ask for help, and that's what we can do. And each person, it's a very different mindset of when they make that change.
Now, I know that there are all different elements of running a business. You mentioned the books, and there's marketing, and there's personnel, and all customer service, et cetera, et cetera. Do you guys address all of those from your company, or do you contract with others based on what you see a business need to be?
Currently, we can handle as right now we're still dealing with small businesses. If there is a need we have a lot of resources. We have graphic artists that can help. We have web developers that can help. We have HR companies. Those are things that sometimes need to be outsourced depending on the customer's needs. But we can help figure out what's the best way to go about getting those people and what it is that you need in your business. Again, it's if you look at your store and you say, I don't get why it's not working, but you have a big cardboard box in your window, it's very easy to go in there and visually help them change. So it's not always hiring extra services. It's maybe just giving them a fresh set of eyes.
What has caused, I think I read, you mentioned the unprecedented change in retail businesses in the last 10 years. What are some of the causes of that viewers who are watching might need to be very keenly aware of as well.
I mean, single-handedly, it's the invention of online retailing.
Gotcha.
I mean, and the internet itself. It's completely changed the entire world of selling anything, any service, any product. Because now everyone, at the palm of their hand with a cell phone, now they can look up and research anything. The consumer is so well informed and educated now that they have higher expectations. They have greater demands of what they expect from a service or a product. And a lot of retailers haven't stepped up to that to be able to address and be able to offer a better experience to the customer once they do come into the store.
Gotcha. We have only 2 minutes left, and that time that we have left, if you're talking to a nonprofit out there or a small business owner, what are some closing thoughts that we'll start with you first, that you would like to leave with them to be successful?
I think what we had addressed, which is about influencers, or use your audience to help you build a bigger audience. It's talking to your customers. A great study was done by a company called Nova Medical. They make medical like walkers and things like that. She put an 800 number on her product, so she got feedback from her customers. Your customers are your best key to your growth and success.
Okay. Kevin, what would be your thoughts?
I mean, definitely is your employees are your front line to your consumer. So going back to what Dara was saying about your customers are the ones who give you the feedback, but to give the great service, you have to believe and develop your employees and your staff so that you're giving the best possible experience to every guest that comes into your establishment.
Yeah, we talk about dignity and respect here, and it could be someone in jeans and flip-flops, or it could be a congressperson, but you never know which is which because...
Especially in Long Beach.
Yes, it's just about that. Thank you, guys. We're out of time. I really appreciate you coming in, and I want to know more in the future. That concludes our show. I'd like to thank Ziba Perez-Zadar, Dara Sampson, and Kevin Lunabrink for joining us today. Be sure to follow PadNet TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest updates. This show has been brought to you with support from the Long Beach Community Action Partnership. Thank you for watching Long Beach Lens.